Greetings, it is I, Queen Scarlet Pimp Sunkiss, coming at y'all right quick, right fast, maybe, with a read for child, Miss Kelsey Nicole. And we gon' touch on her mind, body, and soul, as you can see. However, I'm gonna get into the nitty gritty about child. What is really going on with the good sis? Is she a good sis? Am I using that term loosely? We shall find out because this reading will be dedicated specifically towards what's going on with her in this Meg versus Tory case. And I don't want this to take too long because my spirit just tells me to get in and get out with this one. So, as the cards and the divine realm got straight to the point, I'm going to get straight to the point as well through all these segments, layouts, and cards. And with that being said, without further ado, we going to get into. So, as you can see here, I did a layout just to get some background information on Kelsey Nicole. So, I asked about the truth about her mind, body, and soul. And this is just in a general sense, as she is, who she is in general as a being. So, for the first card, for her mind, what is the truth about Kelsey Nicole's mind? We have the Ace of Pentacles. And y'all, as I was doing my pre-session read, that card came out for Kelsey reversed quite a few times. And the messages giving some unsavory things. And even in this case, it's coming off quite unsavory. So her mind is focused on money, which is fine. And we know she just had a baby, and either way, you gotta get the bag somehow, some way. Howsoever, this is coming from a very superficial energy. She is a money chaser. She is very money driven. Literally, I'm hearing the song, if it ain't about the money, don't be calling me up, don't waste my time. If it ain't about the money, ain't no use in it. I'm literally hearing that song as I am reading off that card. And with that being said, I don't think I have to say much else on that. So for this middle card here, body, what is the truth about her body right now? And she got the Queen of Wands in reverse. So this is definitely touching on the fact that she just had a baby and she's likely not feeling so much like herself at the moment. Tired, exhausted, not feeling the most attractive. Like I said, not feeling like herself. And another part of this is past trauma boiling itself to the surface, having manifested itself in her body. So her body may literally feel heavy these days. Like, she doesn't want to do much but sit and lay around and things of that nature. And a part of that is because she just had a baby. But another part of that is trauma and past woundful memories coming up and causing discord. And then for the third card, we have here for her soul, and it is the Princess of Cups. And this is kind of summing up everything that I just read off from the other two cards as well. So this is good. But there's a reason why it's sideways. And I'm just gonna spit it out, child. So Princess of Cups is sideways. She has a lot of potential to be a lot of things in excellent ways, but she has a lot of deep-rooted self-esteem issues, which for some reason somehow seems to keep her on an opportunistic frequency. And what that means in this case is she knows what she's capable of, but she often doesn't feel like she can accomplish it unless someone else is right next to her, unless she's doing it with someone else, or someone else is propping her up or holding her hand and shit like that. She's very codependent. Very codependent. And this can make her quite jealous natured also, because I am also picking up a lack mentality. Potentially she comes from a very impoverished background, or she comes from a family that came from a very impoverished lifestyle, and that mindset has just trickled down and heavily affected her soul, to where even if she has enough, she still doesn't feel like it's enough. So that's why this card is sideways, and that's also why it's Princess of Cups as opposed to Queen of Cups. That's another reason why she has the Queen of Wands in reverse, because she has a very hard time seeing and accessing her full potential, especially if she doesn't have anyone beside her to co-sign and, like I said, hold her hand and all that other shit. And that Queen of Wands in reverse also is very jealous natured. And the Ace of Pentacles in reverse is very unsavory. And like I said, it's right side up here when it came out for her mind. But as it was coming out before in the priestess read that I did, it consistently came out reversed. So really the only reason that it's right side up here for her mind is because that's a reflection of how she feels about money. That's a reflection of the drive and the excitement and exhilaration that money gives her. That's why it's right side up here. But because she seems to struggle with self-esteem and lack mentality issues, her love and drive for money goes together with that and influences her to do a lot of foolish things in order to get ahead, if you will. And like I said, to be very codependent. All right, and that's it on that. We're going to get into the next layout. So, what's really going on with Kelsey? Why does she keep changing her story? Did Kelsey see Tory shoot Meg? And we're going to start off with the upper layout. What's really going on with Kelsey? Why does she keep changing her story in this case? What is really going on with Kelsey? Why does she keep changing her story in this case? So, we have the Tower in reverse, the Wheel of Fortune sideways, and the Ace of Pentacles once again. And it is also right side up here. So, with this Tower card in reverse, there are some things that happen in this situation that Kelsey doesn't want to be revealed because she doesn't like how it would make her look. She's afraid of how it would make her look. And not only that, she is very afraid of being charged and possibly going to prison, possibly becoming a defendant. And I'm not getting that this is because she shot Meg. This is not because she shot Meg at all. This is about more so things that she may have said and done leading up to the shooting, and things that she may have said and done a very short time after, and likely even up to this point. Conversations that she's had with people, including Tory, that could incriminate not only her character, but I'm not gonna tell no lie to y'all, it's likely that Kelsey was involved with trying to cover up the shooting. And what that means is she may have been involved in coming up with some of the stories and some of the conflicting headlines that would come out to make it seem like Meg had glass in her foot, that Meg was not shot at all, that Meg did something to warrant being shot, things of that nature. It's likely that there is proof that she had a hand in trying to villainize Meg in this situation after the fact. Allegedly, but that is what is coming out here with this whole layout, to be honest. But with this Tower card in reverse in particular, she is behaving the way that she is right now in this case, and she is constantly changing her story and behaving in such an odd manner because she is scared to death that things are going to come out that will incriminate her and make her look like a jealous, vindictive, spiteful, single black female type chick. And I'm not gonna tell no lie to you, she may not want it to look like that, but based off these layouts, that is definitely what it's giving. That she was being vindictive and jealous-hearted and chasing money, and she did a bunch of wicked stuff. And I'm not going to use that phrase. I'm going to say instead that she fucked herself, essentially. So, Wheel of Fortune, sideways. And also pay attention to how it's laying between those two cards. Nothing is a coincidence. The Wheel of Fortune, sideways here, is indicating that Kelsey feels tugged and pulled between right and wrong. She knows right from wrong. She knows the wrong that she's done, and she knows the right that she's done and the right that she could do. But like I said, it could be her low self-esteem issues and lack mentality struggles. Like I said, those particular struggles of hers that have come up, they come up and seem to be very deep rooted. It's something specific in her childhood that traumatized her and influenced her psyche in that way, to where it's hard for her to pinpoint why she's constantly because she doesn't want to acknowledge or revisit those parts of herself, those parts of her story, in order to unpack it so that she can break that cycle and break herself out of that cycle. And no pun intended, because this is literally the Wheel of Fortune card. It is literally about cycles. This is also lending towards her opportunistic drive. I hate to say it, but she is very opportunistic, and another part of the reason why she's moving how she's moving based off these cards and based off the messages coming through is because she is moving based off whatever offer looks good to her at the time. So when the offer doesn't seem as good as it did before, she switches up. When she sees something that seems to look better or sound better, she switches up. And also, like I said, when she thinks about the parts that she's played in traumatizing Meg, essentially, that flips her up too. So those moments of guilt, more than likely, is where she starts to telling the truth, and she was given the information to help Meg and to tell the truth about what happened. But then she gets upset all over again, and those insecurities start coming up, and those other offers start coming in, and then she switches up all over again. Because it's also something about that night in particular when the shooting happened that triggered her childhood, that reminded her of her childhood. So she's also traumatized from that night, and it's also severely triggered her to, basically have to address something that she's been trying to avoid addressing for so long. And it's like she's going through a tug of war within herself. And I pretty much already explained this Ace of Pentacles card. That's about, those offers. Whenever a offer looks better or sounds better, that's what she go with. She flows with the wind. Whatever looks and sounds good at the time, that's what she goes with. But like I said, those moments of guilt that she has, and those moments of her knowing right from wrong, is where she tells the truth and things flow and make sense. And that's essentially when she is trying to help Meg. But like I said, when a new offer looks better, when she starts to having that internal tug of war with herself, then she starts switching up, flipping, flopping, and all that other stuff. All right, did Kelsey see Tory shoot Meg? Beyond a shadow of a doubt, the way these cards came out, she absolutely did see him shoot her. She saw him shoot Meg. And if you look at that Three of Wands over to the left, look at how it's positioned. Look at how it's literally 3 of Wands, indicating 3 people. And I'm willing to bet also that the way those wands are positioned are likely how their bodies were positioned when the shooting happened. And Kelsey is likely the wand in the middle. The Three of Wands, right side up, 10 of Pentacles, and the Empress. The Empress is Meg in this situation. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, the Empress is Meg in this situation. The 10 of Pentacles is Kelsey being offered money in order to keep quiet. And with that being said, also the Empress is a number 3 card as well. So that's another 3. And the way those pentacles, the way that 10 of pentacles, the way those pentacles are set up, is set up in a triangle shape, which has 3 points. Tisk. And not only is the Empress card representing Meg, it is also representing how Kelsey sees Meg. She sees her as a bearer of fruits, which means she sees her as an abundant being, a fruitful being, a stepping stone, even a well of opportunity. And keep that in mind, because there's another layout that has a flip side of that perspective that she has of Meg. But yeah, based off this layout, based on the messages that came through, she saw him shoot her, and she more than likely accepted money to keep quiet. And she more than likely accepted money to fabricate lies against Meg as well. All right, what are Kelsey Nicole's true thoughts and feelings about Megan Thee Stallion, Megan Pete, Megan Jovan Ruth Pete? Anywho, okay, we have the 5 of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, sideways, and the 8 of Pentacles. So here is where we get into what I was saying about more information on her thoughts and feelings about Meg. So this time I'm going to start with the Queen of Cups card. And it's sideways because it seems like she does feel betrayed or disregarded, if you will, as it concerns the way Meg handled, I would say the way Meg handled her own trauma. It's like Kelsey expected for her to like reach out to her, but, and this is my personal opinion that I'm about to insert right here. Kelsey felt like they should have, like Megan should have reached out to her. Like Megan should have checked on her. Megan should have contacted her and should have been trying to talk to her. But Megan was severely traumatized, and Megan is the one that was the most hurt. So I can't blame Meg for going ghost after the fact. And now, outside of my own personal opinion, these are some messages that's coming up through these cards here, through the energy that I'm picking up on. Megan peeped something off about the way Kelsey was moving that night and the way Kelsey moved after the fact. She peeped it. She felt like something was off, and because everything had already gotten so crazy, she decided to go with her instincts because she had ignored her instincts up until that point. And so she basically was acting in the lesson that she learned, not ignoring her intuition and going ghost the minute she felt something was off. And that's why she isolated herself from not just Kelsey, but everybody after the fact. But Kelsey feels a type of way about that. And mostly that is because, like I said in the other layouts, Kelsey is very codependent. And Kelsey is a person that feels like they cannot stand on their own. And so that's why that card is in reverse. It's also, I mean, not in reverse, but sideways. It's also sideways because Meg is not perfect, of course. And it's probably, you know, some other disagreements and things of that nature that, you know, Kelsey has every right and reason to feel how she feel about it. It's just, and this is my personal opinion coming in again right quick, right fast. It's just weak and has nothing to do with nothing to me that you are allowing that to get in the way of not only Meg's justice and doing what's right, but also your own. Because Kelsey was traumatized, and affected by this night as well. It's just, like I said, Kelsey is very codependent and feels like she cannot stand on her own. So there are a lot of things that built up to that moment where Meg was doing her. Meg was focused on her own career, focused on her own schoolwork, just focused on doing what was best for her, focused on healing, focused on her grieving process from all the people that she lost. And Kelsey was taking a lot of things personal. And again, this is because of her struggle with self-esteem issues, lack mentality, and codependency. So, like I said, Meg is not perfect, but what I'm picking up here is there are a lot of things that Kelsey is upset with Meg about, and it's not rational. It's not rational. It's coming from a place of codependency, and it's coming from a place of jealousy, and it's also coming from a place of immaturity as well. And that's why we have the Five of Pentacles there, because that is her feeling left out. That's her feeling discarded and disregarded. And a lot of those feelings, like I said, come from Meg just being focused on her own shit. Now, what I will say, because like I said, Meg is not perfect, I'm picking up that Meg has a tendency to be hyper focused on certain things. She might have ADHD, or that just might be a coping mechanism to grief. But I'm just picking up this energy that Meg was really like throwing herself into her work, throwing herself into her schoolwork, throwing herself into her healing process, so that she could, be great, be successful, make sure she's accomplishing all of her goals. And in the process, she may have neglected certain relationships, not picked up on certain things that she needed to pick up on, and, just human shit. And like I said, Kelsey took it out personal. Another thing here, this Eight of Pentacles, she admires Megan's work ethic. She admires her art. She admires her beauty. She sees her as a work of art. And it's no coincidence that they look very similar physically, because Kelsey sees herself in Meg in more ways than one. But what she sees is what she lacks. She sees it like Megan has everything that she lacks. She sees her as like a missing puzzle piece in a way. But it's also like she sees her potential through Meg. But it seems like instead of her seeing it as, oh, if Meg can do it, I can do it, she sees it like it's not enough to go around. It's not enough talent. It's not enough attention. It's not enough success to go around. And she kind of beats herself up for that. And instead of using that inspiration to pour into her own craft, she kind of beats herself up about it instead, and ends up taking that internal insecurity and taking it out on not just Meg, but other women. And I've been hearing this the whole time I've been doing the reason. Male identified, male identified, male identified. Kelsey is very male identified. She associates herself and identifies herself, gratifies herself through the male gaze. So a lot of these insecurities come from childhood, and some of that childhood stuff has been reinforced, especially when she got around Meg, because it seems like every time she was around Meg, or even when she wasn't around Meg and Meg was brought up, it's like a constant comparison. Oh, Meg got this, but you don't have this. You got that, but you know how you can have a sibling and y'all look alike, and then it's certain ignorant ass people that'll be like, okay, you got the face, but she got the ass, but you got the feet, and she got the hands, and da 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 da. And that stuff can make you feel like you are not enough. And I'm sensing that it was even happening like when Meg wasn't around. Like Kelsey could be minding her business, just doing her thing, and folks would be like, "Oh, where Meg at? Where your better looking twin at? Or where your more successful twin at?" Or some shit like that, saying like underhanded comments to her, passive aggressive quote unquote compliments that are really insults and stuff to her, and instead of her processing it and dealing with it by going to therapy or just speaking up for herself in those moments, she ends up taking that frustration out on other women, specifically Meg. Just trying to see if it's anything else I can pick up on here. What I will say that I'm picking up on, it's a divine design. Her divine realm and Megan's divine realm had them come together and cross paths for the purpose of being mirrors to each other, so that they could see what they needed from each other, and also so that they can see the greater parts of themselves through the other one. Because you know, this is from Kelsey's aura and everything, right? And yeah, Kelsey has, some self-esteem issues, lack mentality, all of that. But there are still some great qualities about Kelsey. It's just, I guess the questions that I ask for this specific reading, doesn't exactly bring that part of the narrative out about her. But there are some great qualities about Kelsey, and many of them can be found in her observation and her perspective of Megan being beautiful, being seen as an empress, a queen, a warrior, a work of art. Because Kelsey's beautiful, and Kelsey is talented also. Kelsey is a creative. Kelsey is a artist at heart. It is her lack mentality and her struggle with self-esteem and those childhood issues that she refuses to acknowledge that holds her back. So I just want to make sure that we're not demonizing Kelsey, because this is not to demonize her at all. It's just to get specific answers to specific questions. And just me personally, the way the messages have come out, I noticed that it's a lot of unsavory. That's the word of this read, unsavory. It's a lot of unsavory elements that are being brought up about Kelsey. And I just like to make sure that I'm balancing it out so that people understand this is not to, make it seem like Kelsey is just a horrible person, lackluster, she ain't gonna ever be shit. That's not what this is, and that's not what any of this means. This is just a percentage of her. And enough on that. I'm gonna move on to what are her true thoughts and feelings on Tory Lanez. Okay, Kelsey Nicole's true thoughts and feelings on Tory Lanez. Mama named him. Shout out to It's Rocks. Mama named him Daystar Peterson. And we have the 9 of Pentacles, 4 of Wands, and 10 of Cups. Some of you may be noticing a difference here. Some of you may be noticing a consistency based off of things that I said. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and just spit it straight out. So we have the 9 of Pentacles. She sees, child, I really hate this. I hate that her thought process is like this. But she sees Tory as a peacock. And she associates the imagery, the flashy stuff, the money, the jewels, the pomp and circumstance, the pompous, arrogant attitude. She sees that as powerful. She sees that as valuable. She sees that as endless opportunity. So that's why that Nine of Pentacles is there. And that's why she sees him in that way, because she sees him as a prize. And I'm not going to say for certain because I didn't pull, based off of that. But it really seems like some type of daddy issue here or something of the sort. It's like a particular man that Tory reminds her of, the reason why it's hard for her to accept the toxic qualities of him and to accept the dark truths about him, because it seems like she was taught to respect and glorify someone at a young age who wasn't truly worthy of respect and glorification. And that's a high reason why it's such a tug and pull internally, because a part of all of this happening for her is for her to realize the toxic lessons that she has internalized. It's for her to realize how she keeps putting herself in these predicaments, and the way she keeps putting herself in these predicaments is glorifying people and putting value in people who do not deserve it. And she's basing a lot of it on what it looks like as opposed to what it actually is. And then we have the Four of Wands here sideways. So I'm going to spit this out very simply stated. This is lending towards her codependency issues. And she sees Tory as someone that has the ability to guide her. And not necessarily like... in a way, she does look up to him, but it's more so from a place of her just being used to that type of dynamic. She's used to people telling her what to do and how to think. She's used to people forcing her into making decisions and into doing certain things. And it's a comfort there with that. Again, like I said, that is stemming from her codependency issues. And this is how she's found comfort in it. She feels as though he's made her life easier in a lot of ways because of certain amounts of money and opportunity that he's led her to. But what's crazy to me is that it doesn't even seem like it's like an abundance of money or like really, really great, like the best opportunities or anything. It's like small photo shoots, studio time with people who aren't that big, cash apps here and there that allow her to get a good amount of gas and food and shit like that. And again, that is stemming from her lack mentality. Because she has such a lack mentality, she doesn't think she can do any better. So any little piece of pretty that she gets, she thinks it's just the world. And that's why she kind of thinks the world of him, because he's gotten her opportunities that she think are so great, and he's gotten her out of a lot of shit, and he showed her a certain amount of attention, and that has made her feel special. Now, while it seems that Meg has offered her more opportunities that are actually better and more profitable, y'all, if y'all hear like a bunch of background noise, motors, alarms, dogs, and all of that, please excuse that for the moment. And also accept it as confirmation of these messages. But I don't know what is going on in the atmosphere right now. But child, it's a lot going on out here. So just please try to work through that for me. Because I'm about to wrap this part up anyway. Anywho, as I was saying, Meg has introduced her to a lot of opportunities that are actually more profitable. But the reason they don't seem as profitable to Kelsey is because it comes at the expense of her being seen as like a doppelganger, basically. And that Ten of Cups is like more confirmation that she sees Tory as a savior. She sees Tory as a savior for a lot of shit, like a deus machina for a lot of shit. And what that means, it's a theatrical term that refers to basically, let's say you're watching a movie, a play, a show, and you're certain that a certain character is about to die because the circumstance that they are in is like, or they're about to die, they're about to go to jail, or they're about to meet some drastic fate of their life, and you're certain of that because of the circumstance that they are in and the stakes that are stacked in front of them. But some type of divine intervention happens that gets them out of it. And that is how Kelsey sees Tory, like some type of divine intervention that pulls her out of that insecurity, that lack mentality, that codependency. Even though she's still in it, in her mind she doesn't feel like she's still in it because of what he's doing for her and how she's been taught to view it. She's very, like I said, she's very male identified, and to me it seems like it's stemming from growing up in a domestic violence household. I did not ask a question to confirm that, so I'm not saying that as a fact. I don't like to, take the power away from other people to talk about their own abuse or experiences of abuse, but that's what it seems like. It seems based off of the messages that are coming through, based off of the energy, based off of the way that she functions and the way that she thinks and the way that she sees Tory also. Versus the way that she sees Meg and the way that she interacts Meg, and more so, especially the way that she sees herself. It seems like, and it's, it's ringing in my head. I'm clairaudient, so I'm hearing it. I'm just not going to say that it's for a fact, just because I didn't pull any cards to specify and clarify that. But it seems like she has a lot of trauma from growing up in a domestic violence household where her father, a father figure, was more than likely the abuser, and her mother impressed upon them, or other women, other people in the environment oppressed upon her and the younger people around her as well, that they still needed to respect that man. They still needed to glorify him. They still needed to be appreciative of the money and the opportunities that he brought to them, despite the abusive behavior. And that's why this is coming out the way that it is. That's why she's moving the way that she is, because there's a warped mentality of glorifying the abuser and villainizing the victim. And y'all, I have milked this cow dry. I have milked this cow dry, honey. And it really lasted longer just because I feel bad that this is the information that's come out in the reading. I don't like that Kelsey feels how she feels about herself. I don't like that she has that type of mindset. I feel bad for her. I know some folks will probably be like, oh, why do you feel bad for her? She's not fighting for herself and all this, that, and the third. But I'm empathetic by nature. And I still have the understanding and the acknowledgement that she has been traumatized as well. And that the reason why she's functioning and handling her trauma and Meg's trauma in this way is because it's a lot of deep, dark shit that's stemming from her childhood. So I just simply feel bad that she feels so low about herself and that she doesn't think enough of herself to do better. So there's that. Now, let me be clear. It doesn't outweigh the empathy that I have for Meg. It's just multiple things can be true at once, which means that I can have empathy for both women at once. And while I hate that Kelsey is handling this the way that she is, and she should be held accountable for all of the things that she needs to be held accountable for, I just feel so bad that she seems to be stuck in a cycle that she don't seem to have the tools to get herself out of. But y'all, like I said, I have milked this cow dry. And if you're feeling synchronized, please like, share, and subscribe so that you can be one of the first to be back through these queenly quotas for the next time. And be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you all light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. And for a special outro on this particular video, I want to bid light, love, healing, and liberation to both Meg and Kelsey in this situation. I'm bidding an abundance of light, love, healing, and liberation to the both of them, as well as justice, divine justice, all of the justice that is needed to both of them. And y'all, I thank y'all. Okay? Once again, emphasis on liberation. Mwah.